Morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited this morning. I have this thing I want to talk about, and I think it's going to be really, really helpful. So, I've had an experience, and I know that for myself, if I am giving concrete examples of how things work, I do better with it. And so, I want to tell you about this experience that I've had. Last Sunday, I had a beautiful, beautiful live event with a young man. His name's Trey. Honestly, I can't tell you his last name. His podcast is called Your Superior Self. And he just was a delight. And we had a conversation, and then he invited me to do this live thing. And it was really fun and exciting. And he asked wonderful questions. And I've shared with you folks before that the energy of the question brings forth the energy of the answer. And it was just beautiful. What came through in channel was awesome. And it was just a great experience all the way around. But I was talking with him about this idea of the sandbox, the method of the sandbox, which I've been talking a lot about because I'm using it a lot and it's being really, really helpful. So the sandbox method is basically the method of, it's a mental practice of, if you see something or something happens that you feel is pulling your energy down. I picture myself, because I love the idea of standing at the top of a humongous castle. And I even love that means, is it called the rampart, the top, really top part? I don't know. Somebody can tell me underneath, but I picture myself at the top where I'm open to the sky. I'm open to the glory that's above me. But down below, I have my moat. And my moat is full of all the yuck. And so when something comes into my experience, I throw it into the moat in my mind. I throw it into the moat. And then with my energy, I jump across the moat into one of my sandboxes. And I'm really spending time creating these sandboxes. And so a sandbox, like I shared with this young man, I have a sandbox where I visit with Oprah. I have a sandbox where I'm interviewed with Michael Sandler. I have a sandbox where I'm interviewed by Alex Ferrari. All of these big names that would be really, really cool. Now, am I going to be disappointed if I don't get those calls? No, I'm not going to be disappointed. It's fun to play. I have lots of sandboxes. I have my unicorn sandbox, and I have my perfect health sandbox where I'm doing all kinds of yoga that I've never, ever, even when I was 20, was able to do. But I mean, I play with these things in my head, and it keeps my energy up and happy. So a couple of days passed after this interview, and I got a text from Trey, and it said something about, I'm going to introduce you to one of your sandboxes. Be keeping an eye to your email. So I'd been doing a one-to-one with somebody, so it had been a while since that. I checked my email, and lo and behold, there is an email from Trey. Now, I'm very tech not savvy, so it takes me a minute to realize that this is an email that's addressed to two different people. And in the beginning paragraph, he says, Kelly, let me introduce you to my good buddy, Alex Ferrari. And I mean, my head just starts to explode. And then he goes on and he says, Alex, I'd like to have you meet Kelly. You would really enjoy interviewing her, blah, blah, blah. That moment, I mean, I just started to shake. I started to cry. I held my face in my hands and I sobbed for probably 10 minutes. I just sobbed. I sobbed from the glory of it. I sobbed. I'm going to cry just talking about it, because I sobbed from the overwhelming grace that God, the universe, my guides have for me. How much love and care that they have for me. That this young man would take the time to do it, for one thing. And that it even would be possible. I wouldn't, just like they have taught me, I wouldn't have been able to have dreamed that up. And yet, boom, 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 there it is. Well, it was wonderful. And the feeling of that, I just cannot even explain. Just the care I feel, the love I feel. I just wish I could bottle it and sell it. I'd be a bazillionaire, because it is just friggin' awesome. But then, being human, I start every time my phone dings, I look at my phone. Has Alex emailed me? Oh my God, has Alex emailed me? Has he emailed me? And now it's only been since that happened. It's been probably 2 days. But I can feel my energy around this starting to get a little bit negative. And so this morning, because I'd look at my phone and I'd feel disappointed. Oh, crap, he hasn't emailed. Oh, no, he hasn't emailed. Well, excuse me, my allergies are terrible. I know that feelings of disappointment are not going to be creating what I want. And I don't mean what I want in that I want Alex to email me. It is going to affect my signature, my energetic signature. And that's what they're giving me now. It isn't the specific, it is the overall theme of an energetic signature. So disappointment is going to beget disappointment. And so I was feeling, oh, and then of course it was triggering unworthiness. Why would he want me? I'm just a nobody from Lee, Maine, all this kind of crap. It was triggering that in my mind. I'm human. I've never said I was not. And so this morning I said to my guides, okay, I can't have this. This is not fun. This is not a happy thing. This is a wonderful thing. How do I let go of that and get back to where I want to be in my beautiful, happy, creative state? And they dropped that moment when I read that email into my mind. And they said, even the experience of being on that podcast is probably not going to be any more glorious. It might be as glorious, but it probably won't be any more glorious than that feeling that I had when I opened that email and I saw how the universe had just navigated pieces of a puzzle and fit it all together in that moment for me. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is so true. Lots of times it's the wanting and it's the journey to getting stuff is the best part. And then the getting it, you're like, well, it was great. But, it's like going on vacation, the planning and the talking about it, telling people and trying on your clothes and packing the thing that makes you look the cutest and all that kind of stuff. That's a big part of the fun. And I think that's the same thing with anything in life. So I settled down into that idea of revel in that moment and know, and also my guides say, bring anything up to the light of day and it loses power. So bring those feelings that this was generating in you, bring them up to the light of day. I'm telling a story in my head. Oh, he don't want me. He may not have even opened that email yet. I don't know the truth of it. So that's going to bring me to the second part that I want to talk about, which I'm going to be talking about a lot. So hold on. And that is our imagination, because Trey asked me questions and it brought the most perfect answer from my guides around a tool for our creation. And it is the imagination, which is, of course, is what I'm using when I play in my sandboxes. But it was such a clear delivery around, you wouldn't have to convince any of us that when we worry, we create the bad stuff. I don't think I would have to work to convince any of you of that, because we know that worry creates anxiety, it creates heart disease, it ages us faster. We know that. Science has proven that worry affects our health and our well-being. Well, what is worry if not imagination? I'm imagining that Alex has read that and thought, I don't care about that woman. I'm imagining that. Why would I imagine that? Why spend my time imagining that? That's horrid. Think about what worry is. I loved Brene Brown. When I was in my counseling a couple summers ago, my counselor recommended Brene Brown, and I recommend her for you all who are on your journeys to becoming your most authentic self. She's wonderful. And one of the things that she talks about is that ask yourself in any given moment when your head takes off and starts filling in all this stuff, what is fact and what is the story you're telling? Well, the story you're telling is your imagination. Oh, he don't love me. He don't respect me. Your husband does something and you feel like, oh, he's not paying any attention to me. He don't love me anymore. He blah, 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 blah. That's all imagination. Stop that imagination in its tracks and flip it around to creating the scenario that you want, because that has power too. Hold these things up. We have lots and lots of proof that imagination creates, because when imagination is wearing the cloak of worry and fretting and grumpiness, we know it creates. So there's your proof for pretending that you're riding your unicorn into the stars and having that giddy, fun feeling from doing that, the silliness of it, the silliness of standing at the top of your castle, the breeze blowing my flowy thing off my pointed hat back. I love the idea of that. It's a fun thing. We know worry creates. Now we can really settle into the knowing that our positive imagination is creating too. So utilize that, utilize it. It is just a glorious, glorious thing. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to chat about. Just that we're all in this together, that I am loving every single day. I love sharing this kind of thinking with you. And even though I'm just sitting here by myself in my bedroom, it helps me to get clarity in my mind, because I'm going to be presenting it to you. It goes right back to that thing that I learned when I was a teacher, that as you train kids to do like making a hospital bed, the last way to really solidify that knowing is for them to teach someone else. That is a step in teaching. And so when I can get things clear enough in my mind that I can present it to you, it's like, okay, yes, because I'm struggling right along with all of you. I'm living my day-to-day life right along with all of you. And things knock me out of that groove. And I'm going to say her name again because she was just so beautiful. I love Robin Lansong when she said, she answered the question, do you get triggered? And she said, of course I get triggered. I'm human. But it's how fast do I come back to center? And I'm finding that recovery time for myself is getting shorter and shorter. And that is the path I want to be on. So I invite you all to be on it with me. I love that you're participating. Leave comments, ask questions. I would love to respond. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.